I'm Hans Herren, the president of the Millennium Institute based in Washington, and also the founder and president of the BioVision Foundation, which is based in Zurich. The Millennium Institute has been involved in helping countries in medium and long-term planning for now about 30 years. The BioVision Foundation, on the other hand, has been created 15 years ago and deals actually with projects sort of on the ground, basically helping farmers and rural communities become more sustainable in the area of agriculture, but also health and environment. So basically we now work together because we need a plan for the future, and we need really action on the ground. It makes sense to join forces in a project which is called Changing Course in Global Agriculture. Basically the implementation of the famous report on agriculture and also the declaration of Rio +20, which says that every country should now have a national assessment to determine the course of its agriculture and food system, and to make it more resilient, to make it more sustainable, to deal with the inequity, which is very much present in many developing countries. But also we try to do sustainable agriculture and changing course, not only in developing countries, we also need to tackle the developed countries where the problems are just about as big. So we have actually 3 countries right now where we do a pilot on these national assessments. One is Senegal, Kenya, and also Ethiopia. In Senegal, we actually have played already some scenarios looking forward. And interesting is that when you play scenarios on different type of agriculture, smallholder, largeholder, low input or high input, clearly when you look at the framework of 15 plus years, smallholder farmers, as we know already, actually produce as much or even a bit more than the large holdings. What's interesting is that when you look at indicators like poverty reduction, it is much more if you do smallholder farming and with low input. So you produce same amount, but you deal with the jobless, so you have more people with jobs, you deal with the poverty, more people out of poverty, and also the value added for the total economy is actually higher if you invest in smallholder farmers and low input agriculture. And the investment is basically more education for those farmers, the women and the youth in particular. It is more access to inputs for sustainable agriculture, which means maybe compost, organic matter, biopesticides when needed. So all basically what is natural, which doesn't require all the time new inputs. So again, I think it has been shown that which way we should be going. The question is, when are we going to start? There's a lot of discussion right now actually because of climate smart agriculture, climate change, how we need more technology, like for example more GMOs, more fertilizer to feed, or actually I rather use the word nourish the world. Actually we can only nourish the world in the long term if we also nurture the planet. And that can only be done with sustainable agricultural practices like agroecology, organic agriculture, some types of conservation agriculture. But clearly, from all the experience I have in 30 years in Africa, I know that we can produce enough in Africa, for Africa and beyond. We need not to have Europe or America try to feed the world, because how would they be paid to begin with? No, we need to have every country, every continent deal with itself, mostly, but not 100% because the exchange needed, but all the proof is there. And the bigger proof actually is that today we produce enough food to feed twice the human population. But what do? We throw away about 40-50%, we lose a lot pre and post harvest, which we could easily reduce. So it's not so that we have to do really more, we have to do different, more diverse, by different people in different places. So this is the future of agriculture. It is an agriculture which is relocated, localized, culturally sensitive, and also environmentally sensitive. Overall, when you look at sort of what do people think about agriculture, politicians, but also consumers, even farmers, I think there has been progress. I mean, the biggest progress, I think, is the awareness that we need to change. The awareness that the green revolution type agriculture, with heavy inputs, is not a solution for the future because it's too expensive. It destroys the environment, it has huge externalities, so we know this. There is an acknowledgement that there's a problem there. The question really is still, how do we change it? Do we just more technology, or do we need more knowledge? Both, what kind of innovations? And again, there, science and also the farmers have actually led the way on what we could be doing. And these things which we have been promoting on the terms of sort of larger term of agroecology, I think will bring those solutions needed for resilience, adaptation to climate change, better nutrition, better health overall. So all this actually is there. The awareness is there, but I'm not sure that yet we have the right investments, that the governments who actually need to make those changes through policies are ready. And why not is, very clearly, I know there are a lot of forces out there who are pushing still in the wrong direction. These forces have a lot of money, they have a lot of influence, and I think it's time that the consumers wake up to the reality, that farmers wake up to reality, and demand something else for their own future. So now this year we have this famous year of the family farm. Next year we're going to have the Expo 2015, which sort of a good continuation because it's all about food and agriculture. So we have a huge opportunity actually to set the record straight on what type of agriculture will nourish the world in the future. Who are those farmers? Maybe to link them with the Expo. So I think the potential to make something very extraordinary interesting is there. The question now is, how can we do all this? But I think that we should really take the opportunity to connect the consumers with the farmers, because I think there's a huge disconnect. People don't really know who are our farmers. They're not respected. We always complain that stuff is too expensive. But if they were not there, we would be hungry. Everybody, even ourselves. So I think we need to actually bring this respect to the farmers and to the farms, to the hardworking people. And that can only be done if people actually meet. And I think the Expo 2015 could be this new ground where consumers meet the reality of the farm today.